Yes, I am live. I am live. And make sure you hit the like button now because I am live. I am live. I am live. And also, man, after the show, make sure you log on to doggiediamondstv.com. On there, you will find all the videos that you might have not have saw in your feed because for whatever reason you didn't see it. And you were wondering if I put out new content. Of course I did. And it will all be on doggiediamondstv.com if you don't see it in your YouTube feed. It's going to be on doggiediamondstv.com. And also, man, have you heard about my $100 promo deal for January? If you didn't, let me give you some details real quick. I got some promotions to do, so stay tuned for those. But your promotion will be done on Doggie Diamonds TV and the Interlude TV. That's the Insta stories, the YouTube communities, the threads, the Facebook, the Twitter accounts. I could promote whatever you need. But as a reminder, this is for serious inquiries only. Must be Cash App ready. I can help you bring more awareness to your products, your music videos, your ads, your YouTube, your t-shirts, whatever it is that you need to get in front of thousands of people, I can help you with that. And listen, man, if you need any help with your product, I advise you hit up Coach Kandaka. She is now accepting clients. Get your consultation. This is for artists, podcasters, business owners, content creators. Her services include social media growth, brand clarity, organic supporter building, organic supporter building. You know what organic mean? Don't mean that it means that you didn't pay for them. Rollout strategy, product management, and monetization strategy. Just DM her at Coach Kandaka on Instagram to book. I advise you to do it. She's helped many, many people in the culture. So I said I was doing this one time, this music, but I decided to do it twice because, you know.
Doggie Diamonds did this.
Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Shout out to Jay Wu in the building. New Haven, Connecticut is in the building. After school, what's up? I'll look into that. We got Derek Douglas in the building. Rashawn DeGray, how are you doing? Holy Ghost Rider, where you been? Shout out to you. Chin Beats, what's up? K Pat, the BX is in the building. Nate Jackson, what's up? Big Mars in the building. Tiger, what's up? Immortal TK, what's up? Peter Truth, what's going on? Yes, I am here. I am here. So, y'all know what I do. Y'all know when it comes to these topics, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but, you know, I've been talking about this for years. So it's just one of them nights, you know, this platform doesn't allow me to discuss this. So, you know, it is what it is, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do tonight because it's important. Thank you, Chin Beats. Yes, and don't forget,
Doggie Diamonds did this.
every music you ever hear on my channel, I did it. I was on the machines. We got DJ Ray 73 in the building. Nisha 9 Stars is here. Yes. We got the great 321 in the building. Yes. Make sure you hit that like. I need them likes to go crazy right now. I need them likes to go up, all the way up. It's very easy to hit the like button. And it's free. Free 99. It don't even cost you nothing to hit the like button. I'm gonna need that like to get liked. I'm gonna need that chat room jumping too. If you here, just don't watch me. Leave a comment. Say something. We got Sun Gazer Reg in the building. That's a fly name right there. Yes. EC, what's up? EC is in that green because they are a member of the channel. DM 30001 in the building. Yes. Yup. Pete Rock didn't do this. Nah, I did this. Shout out to the great Pete Rock. Definitely somebody I idolized in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Curtis Penn, what's up? Y'all ready? I'm ready. Yep. All right, I'm ready. I am ready. J Ryder 86, what's up? Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds TV. This is Doggie Diamonds No Filter. It was only right that I represented with the hat. Shout out to the homie Gorilla Nims. I mean, it's a stupid thing that me and Poe do where we talk to each other backwards. So sometimes when I talk, you think I think I'm talking to Poe, who's my cousin. So sometimes we'll say Narilla Gims instead of Gorilla Nim. So sometimes when I'm talking to y'all, I'll be ready to talk in a language that only me and him understand. But because y'all my family too, so I do that. So let's start out by saying R.I.P. to Young Noble, who tragically I don't really know what to say sometimes, and because could sometimes when we say somebody took their life, sometimes it's frowned upon, sometimes it's shunned, sometimes it's disgraceful to some people. But down there it says, may we all find peace. And I think that's something that many of us struggle with. What is peace? What is our peace? What is peace a temporary thing? When you see each other, when you say peace. When you greet each other, you say peace. When you leave each other, you say peace. And that's one of the things that many people don't have, although we say it. And peace is kind of taken for granted because peace means different things to different people. To me, peace means peace, like mental clarity. So if you don't know what's going on, why this show is being done, it is because of this. And it says, Young Noble, who was a member of the Tupac Shakur's hip-hop group Outlawz, passed away in Atlanta Friday at the age of 47. Noble, whose real name is Rufus Lee Cooper III, basically unalived himself, TMZ first reported. The rapper's former Outlaw teammate and longtime friend Edie Mean confirmed the heartbreaking cause of unaliving in a social media post. Today, I got some of the worst and unexpected news imaginable, Mean began. My brother and partner for over 30 years. You read what it says. Rest in power, Rufus Young Noble Cooper. I obviously am in no shape to talk about this right now, so please give his family and I some time to process. Mental illness is a real battle being fought by so many. Check on your folks. And then, people were saying mental health is real. Mental health is real. In 2021, he survived a serious heart attack. His mother recently passed away, as I know. And his son passed away as well. So that's why when people talk about mental illness and use it as a buzzword or just something to talk about, I take it so serious and I take it to heart because I know how real it is. It is really real. But is it real to you as a buzzword? Is it real to you to say in hindsight, or do you say it's real in the moment in foresight? So one of my favorite, of course, we listen to Young Noble dealing with the Outlawz. I don't really remember him too much in the early days of the Outlawz. I remember him more in the latter days. And one of my favorite verses that he had was Driving Down the Freeway, produced by High Tech. It was a Young Buck record. I don't think it was a mixtape, but I don't think it was an actual song. I used to love Driving Down the Freeway. So that's like my favorite record from them. But they, they was on a lot of classic records. And, so a lot of times we say, mental health is real, mental health is real. But one thing that I did see from Young Noble in these last days, and this is why I'm speaking to this as well, is I seen him struggling. I don't know what it is about me, but I can see when somebody's going through it. And it's when it's my friend, my family, my loved one, I kind of latch on them to let them know that, yo, you're not by yourself. Whatever is plaguing you, you could explain it to me. You could talk to me. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to repeat it. If we can, even if you just want to talk, but let's try to find some solutions together to what you're going through. And what I seen with Young Noble, I seen him going through it. I kind of seen him spiraling. And for the most part, he was content. Us that sit on this side of the camera, and then we get people to sit alongside of us, or we sit in front of people with our cameras, we have to be careful with who we talk to, because sometimes when we talk to people, we also make them bring out some of them demons that's haunting them. Although talking helps you, talking can also make you unearthed and say certain things that you have repressed, but you might be comfortable in the situation, and then you start speaking. Some people, when they start speaking, they can't stop speaking, and then they just start saying stuff, and many revelations come out that you didn't know. The last few interviews that I saw of him, I could tell something was wrong. Something is wrong, but he was content. So I think sometimes as we watch content, we say, yo, he bugged out, or he wilding, or he crashed out, or yo, he went in. But that's what we see on the exterior. That's what we hear. That's what we see on the exterior. But internally, it's turmoil. And every day he has to live with what he's going through. And he could only speak but so much, because when the cameras is on, he still has to go into the mode of the artist, the mode of the rapper, the mode of the loved one, the mode that he think people love him for. And one of the worst things that a man, and women as well, but I'm just speaking for a man at this moment, one of the worst things that men want to do is be vulnerable, because your vulnerability also becomes your Achilles heel and what people will make fun of you for. So if something bothers you or something is bothering you, the minute somebody wants to troll you or say something negative about you, that's the first thing they attack, the thing that bother you, because many of us who have the tough exterior, you cannot penetrate us emotionally. Like, you could say whatever you want and we'll laugh, or, somebody like myself who's very quick with it, I know how to just have a good clapback. That ain't about nothing. So people will try to find something that they think is gonna hurt. They're gonna try to find something that is going to bother you the most. And one of the dangers of that is that they don't know how you're gonna react. That's why I try to keep a lot of my commentary about people about music. It's not about them personally. Sometimes I have fun and stuff and just say how I feel, but it's more about the music. It's not how if I feel that somebody's a snitch, a rat, they pussy, I don't really, get into that. It'll be like, I'll say something about the music, and when I say something about the music, some reason people get triggered because they be feeling like they gotta protect somebody about their music. So instead of them being a fan, they be more of a cheerleader. And instead of them disagreeing about the music, they make it personal. But I'm built for this. Everybody not built for this. Everybody not built for this camera. Everybody not built for the comments. Everybody not built for the backlash. He had a lot of I could sense a lot of pain in him based off of him losing a lot of loved ones early, right? Losing famous friends that you're haunted by because you got famous friends, and then you start seeing your famous friends' names being slandered, and it's all your perception. You start seeing different opinions on your famous friends, and you feel like you have to defend their honor. And in defending their honor, what you do is you wake other things up. So if you feel like, for example, you feel like Nas says something disparaging about Tupac, or Jungle or anybody says something about Tupac that you don't like, and you feel like you're going to defend Tupac's name and honor and nobody else is doing it, you spiral. Because you like, yo, first of all, you disrespecting my brother, you disrespecting the deceased, and I'm still here. And then you feel like you in a fight by yourself because nobody's fighting with you. You start saying, where's all the loved ones? Where's all the Tupac riders at? And you don't see the Tupac riders, so you start feeling like you're alone and you by yourself. And then now you take on a new fight because you say something disparaging about Nas defending Tupac. And now you got to deal with that smoke. So every day in your comments, every day in your DMs, every day, and then you start going through it. Then that has nothing to do with your everyday life, your everyday hustle and bustle in this music industry, family life, children, significant others, homeboys, fake friends. Everybody is not built to last with that. We all have a breaking point. Just unfortunately, some people breaking point ends with them harming themselves. So what I always try to do when I've interviewed somebody who I can see was hurting, I've always tried to counsel them. Yes, let's talk about it. But it doesn't stop here. Don't go on an interview run. Come here with me. Let's kick it. But one of the things that I'm always going to give you and tell you is that, yo, you need professional help. Because although we're talking about it, I don't want to exploit you, but I want to talk about the story, but you need professional help. The help that you need, I can't give you. And a lot of times we deal with friends and family and you be like, yo, the help they need, we can't give them. And it's debilitating and it makes you helpless because sometimes you see your friends, your family and your loved one hurting and it hurts you because you can't help them. So when I interview Freddie P, you can see that it affected him so much that he actually cried. I interviewed NY Oil. Many people have cried on my camera. I didn't say, oh, such and such cries about that. That wasn't nothing. It was more about, okay, this is still bothering you said years later, 15 years later, 20 years later. Yo, you need help. And I can only do but so much. But what I would like to do is just tell you and point you in the direction of needing help. And although I don't rock with dude no more, never will again. When I had when I first interviewed Hassan Campbell, what did I always say? Yo, bro, you need help. Like, this shit ain't enough. This right here, what you looking at, all of this is not enough. You need professional help because many times, and I'm not trying to single him out or diss him or anything tonight, I'm just talking real. I used to always call his phone and be like, yo, you good? Because I'm the type of person that really check on people and make sure they're good. I have nothing to gain from anybody. And some people might believe, oh, you use me for views and all that shit. I took all the videos down, so it's never about views. It's about your well-being because this is bigger than views. This ain't about views. This is about people sometimes and you see them struggling and you watch them. And I was saying before how many people confuse love with people watching you or wanting you to crash. So you think that you got viewership and you got an audience because people love you. A lot of people don't love you because if anybody love you, they're going to pull you to the corner and say, yo, bro, I think I don't think you should do that, which I used to do a lot in that situation as well. Like, yo, bro, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. And he used to admit that. I used to call, don't do that. Like, that don't make no sense to do that. But once people get into these situations and they start becoming who they are, they no longer listen to or seek counsel because the people who that they normally would have listened to or accepted counsel from starts becoming beneath them because they start becoming who they want to be in this, what they set out to be. And they forget them good, kind words and the words of wisdom and the shit coming from a loving place. And they start listening to people who don't care about you. That's why I always say, I don't listen to anybody and I don't seek validation from strangers. No stranger could validate me. I don't listen to people who say what you should do now, all you got to do, because that's not all you got to do. And nobody can validate me but me, because most people want to see you run into a wall head first and then say, damn, yo, he hit his head. Unfortunately, the way society is, we love bad news. Facebook is one big obituary. And I was going to say something, but I didn't, for once I bit my tongue. Which I never do. But I bit my tongue on Facebook. And I was going to say, when people pass away, it wouldn't hurt so much if you checked on them in life. Sometimes it hurts when they're gone because you didn't give a shit about them when they was alive. Now that they're gone, you're trying to exploit their death by getting clout, by saying how much it hurt, But how does it hurt if you ain't speak to somebody in 5 years or 6 years and they got their number and you fell out over the smallest things? If you check on people and you know what they're going through, sometimes you might know that they're not feeling well. You might know that they're sick. You might know that they're not in a good mental space financially or whatever. But people don't check on people over the smallest things. And then when they go, they start feeling guilty. But then I want sympathy because somebody passed away. But I didn't even check on them. I didn't even know what was going on with them. I didn't even look into what was happening with them. So it's more guilt than it is. And I'm not saying you don't miss people. I'm not saying you don't miss people, but you miss them more when you know you didn't do enough. And sometimes we don't do enough because of our selfish things and what we got going on. And sometimes you can't do enough because you might be going through it. So that's why when it comes to overabundance of sadness, that's why when y'all used to come in my chat and it ain't got nothing to do with said topic, I would go off and be like, yo, don't come in here with them RIPs to people because you're going to bring the mood down. And I'm trying to set the tone for what we going to talk about. But if you come here with that, then first of all, you derailing from what I'm talking about. 2, you dampering the mood. It's too many RIPs and not enough congratulations. And we don't support people's efforts when they doing good, but then when they want to celebrate them and say how great they was when they gone. Maybe if they heard their greatness, maybe from greatness and knowing they were doing great things, they would have felt like they had more purpose. But a lot of people be feeling unappreciated and putting their efforts into doing things, hoping that it would be embraced by most. But nowadays, I think it's cool for people to see people's efforts and to scroll right past people's efforts and say, yeah, I seen them do that, but I didn't like it. I didn't click it. I didn't want to. Oh, I didn't say congratulations. Yeah, they got a promotion. So because of so many people having this energy of always thinking that they're competing, first and foremost, a lot of people's not even in the same field. But because you do this, you might work in corporate world and somebody's an engineer, you feel like you got to compete with them for attention. See, this attention thing that we getting, these likes, these clicks, and these views have really blinded people by reality. Because a lot of people who get clicks, likes, and views, they really ain't shit. And I'm just being real with you. They really ain't shit because you can buy it. So anything that could be bought really doesn't have a value. Anything that can be paid for does not have value because invaluable things cannot be bought. Invaluable things, that's why it's invaluable. It can't be bought. So if you could buy a like, a view, a comment, a subscriber, then it really has no value. So you can't sit here and say your value is based on these likes, views, and comments and all that. And if I want to, I could buy it too. So if that is your value and it could be paid for, then how valuable is it if everybody could get it? The most valuable things cannot be bought. So I don't judge people based off of their money. I don't judge people based off of their views, likes, subscribers. I don't judge people based off that because shit, I could buy that too. And most of the things that people have that you think is precious, some of us have that too. We just don't brag about it because that my value does not come from my gold chain. My value does not come from my bracelet. My value doesn't come from how many subscribers I got. And then I find that people think that they're hurting my feelings by saying what I don't have. You can't hurt me by what I don't have because maybe I don't aspire to have that. But as long as I got my peace, that's invaluable. And you can't buy peace. You can't even pay for peace. Peace is something that you find and you let it find you. And you find a way to be at peace. Peace, being at peace sometimes is just understanding that this is what's going on. I'm at peace with it. Let me find peace with it. And let me find alternate methods to deal with this. You know, you have somebody who just lost their legs last night. And they might wake up tomorrow with no legs and they know they're going to lose their legs. And they say, yo, you know what? hit you with one of these nubs. You ever see somebody that you might look at and a tear might form in your eye? You look at them like, damn, and they happy as hell. And you can say to yourself, why they so happy? They don't got no arms. Why they so happy? They blind. Why they so happy? They can't hear. I wouldn't know because they found their peace. And that don't mean that it's 24/7, 7 days a week. That just means that they know how to cope with what they dealing with. And they know how sometimes to be strong for you. Sometimes they know how to be strong for you. And to show you, yo, I can't see, but I smell you. You need deodorant. And you might laugh with them and be like, wow, yo, they funny as hell and all that. And you be sitting there feeling sorry for somebody who don't even feel sorry for themselves. So when people call me and I got to deal with different tears of sadness and different people, I do two things. Either I latch on to them and try to say, yo, you gonna be good, we gonna be all right, or I just let them go, because some people want you to come to the pity party too. Some people have been dealing with some of the shit they've been dealing with all their life and they didn't find their peace and they don't want you to have it either. So those are the type of people that I stay away from, you know, Debbie Downers, killjoys, and people that don't find their peace. And I find as well too, when you are vulnerable and you admit some things that plagued you and some of the things that you go through in life, you know, you ridicule. You know, everybody on this channel knows me. If you've been a supporter, day one supporter, or you came on within the last few years, I've always tell people like, yo, man, I've been through some shit. I've been through hell. I got a lot of excuses, but I don't use them. And then I find people thinking that they're ridiculing me by shit that I openly admitted. If I openly admit it, that means I embraced it, I deal with it, got therapy, got counsel, or some things we deal with every day. If you ever a person who suffered from depression don't go away, because whatever made you sad still exists, but you just find different coping mechanisms. You find different ways to deal with it. It never goes away. Some days is better than the other. Some days is real bad. Some days, if you anxious, some days you're a little bit more anxious, but then you start finding what you need to cope with what you're coping with. It never goes away. There is no cure for certain things when you're dealing with your mind and your mental. Most of the things that goes on in your mind has nothing to do with what you put in your mind, is what other people put in your mind about you or about your surroundings. When people make you feel like you're not adequate enough, you start feeling like you have no value. That gives you low self-esteem. And then you might have people who will exploit you for that. Like you got people who got all the money in the world. They got all the material things that you think you want. And some people have that and they sad. So I just could say to you, stop looking at somebody else's journey because you don't know their destination. Your destination might be different than their journey. But if you going through certain thing, yo, you gotta find the cure. And there's no cure. So let me reword that for you. You got to find a cure, but there's no cure. It's just coping. My brother, rest in peace to my brother Mel, he used to always say to me, I was doing this before I got sick. I used to do this, but I got sick. I got sick. I got sick. And I used to say to him, yo, sick people in the hospital, sick people on ventilators, sick people taking their last breath. Some people are sick in ICU. You're not sick. You just deal with an ailment that billions of people deal with. You're not sick. Because if you tell your mind you're sick, then you're sick. If you tell your mind this is the issue, this is the problem, yeah, you might be dealing with it, but you're not by yourself. Billions of people deal with that. You know, so you got to find a way, okay, this is my reality. And then you can say, well, I don't want this to be my reality. So, you know, if you got a blood pressure issue, if you diabetic, if you overweight, so you can control that, but sometimes it takes the change that you don't want to do. So you say, hold on, I can't eat my Twinkies. So in order to gain, sometimes you got to lose something. But what are you really losing if you gain? That's like people in our life. We say, damn, man, I really was feeling her. I can't see my life without her. And then when you forced to have your life without her or him, look what you gain. You gain you again. So sometimes you got to let shit go in order to gain. They have a meme out there where it's a person holding a rope. And they was holding the rope so tight that it was hurting their hand. That eventually when they let it go, their hand wasn't hurting no more, but they thought that they was letting go of something, but holding on to something actually was hurting them. You know, so now we in a time where we like, you know, YOLO, we got all these sayings, we got all of these things, we got all of this, you know, yo, fake people, I'm by myself. So if there's billions of people in the world, how's everybody alone and by themselves? And that's a feeling that most of us have because we forgot good old morals, values, and principles and integrity. And that's what happened. Many people are very deviant, lusty, sneaky, and always trying to get over. So now you feel like, yo, you lied to me one time, I can never trust you. And that's really the biggest problem that most of us face with. We face with trust issues. And now who could we trust? You know what I'm saying? Who could we trust? You can't really, you learn to trust people, but then once you could build trust in somebody for 20 years and they could break it in 20 seconds. And that's just what we deal with. That's what we face with because a lot of people are not being honest with you because they can't be honest with themselves. So now we're all sitting in the crib like, damn, I'm by myself. Are you really by yourself? And what's wrong with your company sometimes? Sometimes you got to learn to enjoy your company. Learn to enjoy yourself. Okay? Said person hated when you smoke cigarettes. Hey, you get to smoke a pack now. Said person didn't like when you drink. Hey, you get you some yak now. When you learn who you are and you start getting into yourself, your likes, your needs, and your wants, then you find yourself. And what I'm not going to do tonight, and one of the biggest problems that we have as a community, and I'm going to say black community, and I'm going to generalize it, the problem that we have is when these situations happen, the first thing we do, and y'all got to stop doing this shit. Stop fucking doing this shit. Stop always thinking everything is a fucking conspiracy, man. People are really, really hurting and going through it, and y'all always trying to make up some spooky shit to justify people pain. Some people hurt they fucking self because they're in pain. And if you recognize and realize the pain, there's no fucking conspiracy. Everybody is not out to be God. There is no boogeyman that wants to take everybody out. Not a lot of people are not that important. Some people hurt their fucking self because they're in pain. And if you recognize the fucking pain, then you wouldn't think it's a conspiracy. Stop doing that shit with everything. Oh, I don't think. Everybody it's not a conspiracy. Some people hurt themselves. Some people don't want to be here anymore. Some people are in such pain that they rather go away. That's just it. That's it. Stop always, because y'all always trying to figure out shit and you don't even know you. Know you, know your pain, know your triggers, know what you're dealing with. How you trying to be a fucking detective or what they was saying? Who the fuck is they? Who is this they that y'all always speak of? And y'all always throw that on everything. And y'all got to stop because when you're dealing with mental health, there is no conspiracy. A person I could be talking to you right now and later on do some heinous shit to myself because I got triggered. So stop doing that shit. Stop with that bullshit and start checking on your people. Everybody is not doing well. mentally, physically, and spiritually. And a lot of y'all break people's spirit with y'all bullshit. And a lot of y'all are trolls. A lot of y'all won't stop. And then when a person does some shit to themselves, y'all be like, damn, he didn't have to do that. Well, maybe if you stop fucking with people, they'll be okay. It be people like some of y'all that fuck with people, get in the comments and fuck with people and fuck with people. Like you don't got nothing else better to do. And some people can't cope. Everybody is not built for it tough like me, but even myself, what is my point? I don't know. But I'll snap your neck before I snap mine. That's a motherfucking fact. Everybody's not okay. And like I said, if you check on your folks and if you do right by your folks, it won't hurt so much. It only hurts sometimes because you know you don't be doing right by people. You know you fell out for the stupidest, simplest shit. You know the last conversation you had with said person or said people, you know you didn't do right by them. So it hurt. And you know that's the last thing you said. And that's just what it is. But y'all gotta, because there's some people who have been making a living by keeping you afraid. Do you know what fear does to your body? What fear does to your brain? It causes anxiety. It causes depression. It causes all this shit. And then we have people who sit on this platform and all they do is try to invoke fear in you because they scared. I'm not scared. I say to every day, I ain't scared of shit. I just ain't. Whatever's going to happen, going to happen. I fear nothing. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. The only fear that I have is fear that I didn't do enough for somebody else. Other than that, yo, I'm going to figure it out. If I have to go back to living with roaches and rats, that's just what it is. But I'm built for that. Everybody not built like me. So a lot of times y'all be thinking, oh, he think he tough. It ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm tried and tested, and I passed a lot of that. What a lot of people are hanging up for, or in institutions or in prisons behind, they can't take it. I passed all the tests. I passed it. And what I be trying to do is give you some of the coping mechanism to pass, but you too fucking stupid to listen because you listen to niggas who trying to make you scared. I don't want you scared. I want you fearless. I don't want you fearful. I want you fearless. That's why I say a lot of times, yo, fuck everybody. What they say, fuck them. Worry about you. Remember, worry about yourself. But y'all always trying to figure some shit out or somebody. We in the last days and you got these religious zealots who've been talking this shit for 200 years, but they want tithes. They want to manipulate women. They want to dress in costume. All that shit is bullshit and it ain't getting us nowhere. It hasn't yet. And it ain't going to. It ain't going to. The boat only sinks when the water gets in the boat. Your brain is encased in water, which you let get into you. The fears that people push on you, the insecurities that people push on you, the things that people tell you about you that's not true. When people say, you got a big nose, you might have never looked at your nose as being big. But if 10 people say you got a big nose and 10 people are in cahoots, some people want to make you insecure about your nose. And then you'll meet somebody that say, yo, I like your nose. You be like, for real? Damn, I always hear I got a big nose. And somebody might say, big nose? Look at my schnauzer. My nose is bigger than yours. But that's all people do is push problems and fear. That's why bad news travel fast. That's why people always want to tell you the worst of everything. Nobody extracts good out of anything. And when they do it for the wrong reasons. They do it for manipulation. And that's how we get manipulated. That's what breeds mistrust. Somebody say, hey, give me this money because I want to build a school for us. You give them the money. There's no school. Give me this money. I want to build a institution for us. There's none of that. People are not doing their promises and y'all not holding them accountable. And you're still watching people that's pushing bullshit on you. Just stop. Or you just want to eat poison and then say, I got poison. Yo, a lot of your shit be self-inflicted. And then dealing with people push on you. That's why I don't have no insecurities. You can't make me insecure about shit that I embrace. I hear all the time what I'm not. Oh, you fell off. You did this and that. Well, whatever. Whatever you think, that's fine. I don't feel that way about me. Shit. And I'd rather fall off than never have been on. I'd say that again for y'all. I'd rather fall off in your mind than have never been on. And most of you strive to be on. I done climbed the mountain. I done drank champagne and spit it off the mountain and came down off the mountain. And I could go back whenever I want. Because I always got a trump card. Always got a card that I could play. Remember that. But I like to watch the movie sometimes because I watch everybody many times crash and burn. And I was one of the ones that was trying to say to them, you better slow down. And they look at me, I got more subscribers than you. I get more pussy than you. I got more money than you. I got more jewelry than you. What can you tell me? Okay, well, I got 20 years. Maintaining. Slow and steady marathon. Okay, what the fuck do I know? I don't know nothing. And them same people be hitting me behind the scenes like, yo, bro, nope, I don't know nothing. I cannot help you with nothing. I don't know anything. I cannot help you in no way. I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. I can't help you. But again, with many of you check on your people, check on yourself, and go get the help if you think you need it. Talk to people who specialize in what you might be going through. And I'm not talking about no quack niggas on YouTube. I'm not talking about nobody, these spiritual healers, and that shit is all cap. Go to somebody who got a degree in it, not no certificate, not no I could read your palm, and just stop with all this quack shit too, because they are manipulators. Go to somebody who put in the work, to specialize in the help that you need. This shit ain't no drug flip. This ain't no record. This ain't none of that. This ain't none of that. Because nothing that you've been through, go through, should make you say, I don't want to, this is all over for me. One of the things that I do, I think about the ancestors. I think about my ancestors, my direct ancestors, and I think about ancestors, period. Sometimes I go outside. Today I was outside with a hoodie on. A sweater. I walk my 4 miles. You know what people say to me when they see me? They say, you ain't hot? I mean, I might look hot and I might be hot. But what I'm willing to put my body through and what I'm willing to endure, no elements could break that. This shit is impenetrable. Only thing that ever hurt me was love. Other than that, no, I'm not hot. And I'm going to walk another mile because you asked me that to show you that I am battle tested. I know how to hydrate. I know when to hydrate. I know everything. But I start thinking about the ancestors who built this country who didn't have a choice whether they was hot or not. They had to go out there and work and perform. So I'm not going to sit my ass in the crib under central air and acting like I ain't got to go out there and put in no work and perform if I want the results for me. At least the results that I'm getting is self-results. They had to produce results for somebody else or got kicked in their ass. That's the difference. I got free will and I got a choice. So no, I'm not hot. I feel good. And that's really what this is all about. You finding the strength in yourself and stop listening to these pussy niggas tell you what you ain't, what you can't be, because they scared. A lot of these dudes is scared. That's why they join gangs. That's why they always trying to talk about what they do and this, that, and the third. They scared. I ain't scared of shit. I'm just really ain't. I ain't scared of no dog. I ain't scared of bugs. I ain't scared of rats. I ain't scared of nothing. Sometimes I'm fearful of me or my reaction. And that's what I work on a day-to-day. Okay, you can't react like that. You can't do this. You can't do that. But the battle that you have, the battle in your mind, it never goes away. And sometimes when you have a photographic memory like myself, and I have the power to recall things, sometimes I could recall trauma and put myself at 9 years old in the house by myself, knowing that my father's out smoking crack and I'm in the house by myself and hungry. I could put myself there. And then I could look and see myself there and say, yo, look where the fuck I'm at today. I can eat whatever I want. I drive good. I live good. Damn, I really did that shit. Because the story could have ended there, and it didn't. It could have ended there, and some people like to take me there. And they think the story ends there, didn't end there. It's been another 40-some years. Still here. Still here. Going strong, better, stronger, and faster. So when people try to push insecurities on me, you old and all this, and you didn't get this, and yo, listen, I'm still here. I could go back. My mother died when I was 2 years old. I could get up here and clout that every day and cry, get donations, get all of that shit. Just because I'm trauma bonding with y'all. And so many people have been through things and they don't know how to cope. So I could milk it. I could milk it. I got 1,000,001 excuses, but I refuse to make an excuse for failure. Failure is not an option. I'm so hard on myself. I'm the type of person that'll walk 4 miles outside and I say, yo, you know what? I want a piece of fried chicken. And I'm going to go walk another 4. That's how disciplined I am. That's how I am on it. So you can't break me. And I'm telling y'all can't be broken. Only time you get broken is when you lead with love and your heart does not use your brain. Your heart uses your brain, and your brain controls your heart, but you're using your heart like your brain. When you're supposed to use your brain, you know better than so much. How many of us right now are kicking ourselves in our ass for the poor decisions that we made? And this is where we at today. Yo, forgive yourself. It's okay. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Yo, it's okay. Yo, shit be happening. Niggas came through with 40s and blunts, man. It just happens. Did your poor decisions hurt anybody? No, most of the time your poor decisions hurt you. Yo, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. How you forgive somebody else and don't forgive you? So if you don't forgive you, you think I believe that you forgive me and you don't even forgive yourself? I made some of the dumbest decisions ever. And you know it's messed up? 9 times out of 10, I do that shit again. If Hassan Campbell came to me, that was one of the worst shit that I ever did. Him and Ron, that was one of the worst shit. But when I seen a man in distress, I don't know what to do but not help. If I'm driving down the street, I drive a foreign. If I'm driving down the street, I keep change and little money right there. If a dude is on the side of the road and say that I'm hungry, I eat good. What is me giving him $2, $3? I give it to him. It don't hurt me. Anybody who know me know when y'all give me money, I always pay it forward. Somebody else needed more than me. So I'm using my platform to help somebody else all the time. Why do you think I do promotion for the low? But these are the things that help me mentally because I know I'm righting the wrongs that I feel like I did by myself. And not by myself meaning alone, by myself meaning to myself. I'm righting the wrongs and I'm like, damn, why the fuck you do this? Why did you do that? You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have did that. When a nigga tell me he lost his job because he wouldn't get the tune-up, as we used to say, I say, okay, I'll give you a show on my channel. Put your Cash App up. You'll get all the money. How did that end up for me? Mistrust, betrayal, and bullshit. To where I don't even want to talk about it. It's so heinous and so fucked up. And people will go on with their life like they didn't do nothing to you. And I'm sitting there saying, damn. Maybe I shouldn't have helped. Maybe I shouldn't have helped. Because look how people act. Like they don't give a fuck. Some people don't care about the carnage that they left. They don't care. You think the tornado care about the houses that they knocked down? Some people are tornadoes. Some people don't care. But I realize bitch ass niggas, that's why I always call somebody pussy. Because I be like, yo, that nigga hurting. That's why they do that. And if they was at peace with themselves, they wouldn't hurt nobody because they would know what it feels like to hurt somebody else. And they wouldn't want nobody else to hurt. So hurt people. So you see niggas struggling. You see niggas start aging. You see niggas' teeth falling out. You see niggas' hairlines going back. You see all that shit happening because they hurting and all they want to do is cause carnage, leave wreckage. That's what a lot of people do. That's why you see some people, they never gonna look happy. They're never gonna be happy, but they know how to pretend that they are. They know how to act like they good. They know how to act like they good. But if you know how it feels to do something, well, if you know how it feels to have something done to you, why would you do that shit to somebody else? Why would a nigga say when he catch me, he gonna knock me out and fuck me? And y'all watch that and think this nigga so fucking profound. And I helped you. You ain't helped me. But you say things like that, not knowing where I'ma be mentally, not knowing how that's gonna affect me. So I just sit back and watch, because like I said, I'm battle tested. I'll never, ever take myself out. I done survived some of that shit, but I see some people who can't. I see some people going through it, and I try to navigate people through spaces, and some people don't want help. They want sympathy. They want you to come to their pity party because it's more love in them crying and acting like they hurt. But as long as them cash apps is ringing, as long as them donations is ringing, and what they turn around and say, I got more money than niggas. I got this, I got that. Yeah, but you cry every night. You cry. You really hurt. You really hurt. And you got people who think their purpose was to help other people and think their purpose was, if I put out all this love, I'm going to receive it. And it is no reciprocity. Listen, man, there's no reciprocity in nothing. Anything you do from your heart. Don't want nothing back. Don't want nothing back, because some people do you so dirty, you can't even say, yo, but hold on, why are you doing that to me? And it reminds me of the fable and from Natural Born Killers, where they told the story of the snake. And snakes these days don't slither on the ground. They walk on 2 feet. They look just like you. They call you babe. They call you bro. They call you comrade. They call you brother. They call you God. They call you Lord. They say assalamu alaikum. They say Islam. They say shalom. They say hotep. That's what we dealing with. So when you dealing with these snakes, they come not as a snake. And then when they bite you, say, why you do that to me? But one of the things that you didn't do discernment. You didn't use discernment because you watched them do it to other people, but you thought you was exempt. You ain't exempt. You're not special. So just prepare for whatever. And it ain't going to bug you out. I do shit for people. I don't even want nothing back. You can't borrow money from me. You can't borrow money from me because you can't pay me back. So I just give it to you. Here, I don't care. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'm always going to find it. You know why? Because I'm battle tested. I'm already proven. You know what I mean? People I'll go and say, yo, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. You don't worry. Because you might be my balance to my manic behavior sometimes. So I'm going to need your balance. But I don't need you on the same mental plane that I am because you keep me calm. You know, you the beauty to my beast. So I'm going to make sure you straight because you're going to make sure I'm straight. You're going to tell me to calm down. You're going to tell me to walk. You're going to tell me to do different things. But shit, who's the psychiatrist? Who does the psychiatrist unpack all this information that they got? Because you just as crazy as the motherfuckers you talk to. And they not even crazy. Some of them are on point. You know, even like an overthinker. Most of us overthink. They say the average person thinks about 70,000 thoughts a day. I think probably 140,000. I think double that, right? But the thing with the overthinker is that I already thought you was going to do that. So that's why I don't take shit so personal. But then when you overthink, now you put your brain into places where it don't need to go. You start going down blocks, avenues, and streets that you don't need to be on because ain't nothing over there but pain and sorrow. And all I'm saying to everybody is that everybody contemplated one time like, I can't do this no more. The saddest shit about harming yourself and ending it all, this shit gonna sound fucked up. This is gonna sound fucked up. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is no filter tonight. Like I said, I know YouTube ain't fucking with me on this, so I'm just going all in. Yo, nobody care, man. We got a lot of fake outrage. We got a lot of fake love. The people who care suffer in silence. And when you die, look how many people die with you and you don't even know. You didn't even know you might have just killed the whole generation of your family. You might have just killed one of the youth. Nobody cares, man. So one of the best things you could do is live. They don't care if you live. Remember Philando Castile? Remember all them people that was clouded, that we hashtagged them when we did all of this. We don't even speak on them. You think if you got a beautiful wife, when you die, nobody ain't gonna fuck your wife? Nobody ain't gonna say, yo, nigga, wife bad though. Because integrity is out the window. Nobody gets charged with integrity but me. I'm the only person that I see the comments and say, oh, you got integrity, you got morals. Why nobody else has it and they get rewarded? Not saying that I want to join the club and the circus, but I'm just saying, what is the reward for having integrity if the world is based off of materialism and all this shit and everybody get rewarded? Nobody gives a fuck. Somebody will go rummage through your pockets. Somebody will take your chain off you. The minute you gone, people who haven't even seen you in years will argue over your shit. It's just a reason for people to get together, be festive, throw a party for you going away, and have fun. And say, yeah, I saw such and such, such and such. Then her ass got fat. Oh, I ain't see you in years. He got this kind of car now. I refuse to give people that satisfaction to clout my shit. I refuse to give people the satisfaction to get up with each other and worry about what I left behind and what they could have and what they fighting over. And it's people who don't even call me that I'm okay. Some of these pussy bitch rap niggas that I helped to this day, I don't hear from none of them. And you know what? I don't even want to. I don't hear from none of them, and I don't want to. Because I know they hurt. I don't care how much jewelry they post. I don't care how many cars they post. I don't care how many awards they post, how many albums they do. I know a lot of them are hurt. You know why? Because I know them. Because I counseled many of them and I spoke to many of them and I know they pain. I know they pain. I know their pain. So now it's let me put on this front. I wear my shit on my sleeve. Some people be like, yo, man, you be mad. And nah, I don't be mad. I'm just a fucking passionate person. I'm not playing. Everybody not playing. When it's time to have fun, we gonna laugh and kiki. But when we serious, we serious. And one thing you never do as a man is let another man play with you or somebody play with you, because then you become a whole goddamn joystick around here. You become a damn toy. So you don't let people play with you. You set your boundaries. Yo, don't do that. I don't like that. And when you set boundaries and when you say what you like and dislike, people will call you a name. Now, I don't like that. Shout out to Canada in the building. I don't like that. This don't make me feel good. That don't make me comfortable. 2-3 years ago, what did I say? Yo, if you think you're going to get through to me by sending me boobs and ass and all that through my DM, that ain't going to work. What did the dude sitting next to me say? Send them to me. It's the problem now. That's our direct problem now. That's our direct problem now as we speak. That's our problem now. No discipline. You can't sway me with nothing. You can't tell me nothing to pacify me. You can't do that. You know why? Because I'm battle tested. And many of you are too. What I'm saying is not about me. Many of you are too. You here for a reason. Look at all the shit you've been through. Remember the times that you was like, God, please, if you let me get through today, I'll never do that shit again. And then you do it again. Then you call, God, please. You get what I'm saying? You still here for a reason. You're still here for a reason. You are here for a reason. Some people are searching for their reason and their purpose. Some people never found it. Some people are still looking. That's okay. But step number one, forgive yourself for your mistakes. You know, it's funny, right? Sometimes, again, I have a memory. I have a crazy memory where y'all kind of remember everything. That ain't always good. I was little. I don't know if y'all ever seen Return to Monster Island. It was in the 80s, early 80s, probably like, 80, 81, 82. I was little as hell. And I remember in the movie Return to Monster Island, it's a Godzilla movie and all the monsters, right? I was little. I was low single digits. Probably was 4, probably like 4 years old. I knew that certain things made me cry. I knew that movies and certain things made me cry. But I would suppress it because the worst thing you could do as a man is ever cry. So we was watching Return to Monster Island. And at the end of the movie, Godzilla's son, Godzuki, and Godzilla was in the cold and they were freezing. And I remember crying. I remember being I was a baby. I cried because Godzuki and I used to love Godzilla, man. We ain't gonna talk about that. But I remember crying. When Godzuki and Godzilla was in the cold. It's the end of the movie. They in the cold, and I remember crying. And I remember my grandmother looked over at me and said, "What the hell are you crying for?" And I remember saying, because she stepped on my shoestring. It was my sister. my sister that's my second older sister, not my first one. And I remember saying, she stepped on my shoestring. And my sister was like, I said sorry. I don't know what he crying for, but I was crying because Godzuki and Godzilla got left. Yeah, remember Godzuki couldn't even blow fire unless Godzilla stepped on his tail. And I'm saying all that to say, sometimes, I ain't do it in a long time, but I remember saying, damn, I got her in trouble because I cried and I was just too chicken to say I cried. That's me though. And see, you have these things that plague you sometimes. Like sometimes I say, damn, I got her in trouble that day because I was just too pussy to say I was crying over Godzilla. So I blamed her for stepping on my shoestring. I promise you, right? And some days I say, damn, you got your sister in trouble. But then I won't say, damn, that shit was 40-something years ago. And sometimes I will feel bad, like you shouldn't have did that. But then going to therapy and thinking about shit, I had to learn to forgive myself because I was a baby making baby decisions and thinking that you're not supposed to cry. You're a boy, right? Because when you're a little boy and you cry, what do they say? Stop crying like a little punk. Stop crying like a little sissy. Stop crying like a little girl. So one of the biggest things that us men face is growing up, we're not allowed to cry. If we cry, that's a sign of weakness. You get that instilled in you young and you grow up with it. So when you can't cry outwards, you cry inside, and either you don't go and you become sad and it turns into rage. And when you can't rage a certain way, the way I seen him raging inside of the Art of Dialogue interview, the rage becomes inward and you turn on yourself. And that happens to many of you because you didn't forgive yourself for something. You can't forgive yourself for making a poor decision, to doing some shit that you did wrong. And if it's somebody that you that's around that you could apologize to, yo, when I was about 16, 17, I was wild. I was wild. I was just wild. I was just wild. I don't know why I was so wild. It was more, I could make up excuses. I didn't have no excuse. I don't make excuses, but I could make up excuses. I was wild. This was going on. I wanted to be, I'd rather been the predator than the prey. So I took place in so much stuff. I remember spitting in people's face. I remember just doing wild shit. And I remember, it was this girl I dealt with probably when I was like 16 years old. And I remember calling her like in my late 20s, like, yo, I'm sorry for spitting in your face. She's like, what are you talking about? You don't remember I spit in your face? Like, when? It's like, yo, you don't remember we was on my step? I spit in your face? And she like, man, I barely even remember that. But it bothered me that I did that because I'm no longer that young adolescent teen. I'm a grown man. I know better. So I should be apologetic and I should forgive myself for doing it. But I felt good to say, yo, I'm sorry that I spit in your face. I'm telling you, I historically don't give a fuck. So sometimes I'll be like, don't bring that guy back. Because if he come back, hell is coming with him. And sometimes I myth him. Sometimes I myth him. And if he comes back, hell is coming with him. That's why I be telling people, yo, man, leave me the fuck alone. Don't do that. I know how far I'm going to go. But I remember calling, and she was like, I don't even remember that. But, okay, apology accepted. And I've just felt good. Because for like 10, 15 years, I was like, what the fuck you do that for? That was corny. But I'm one of them people that'll be like, yo, that was corny that you did that. And then I walk around knowing that I did some corny shit. But in today's society, people do corny shit. It might have been people, Young Noble and Stickman just did an album together. You know, maybe that album, he felt like this album was going to be the one. Maybe he felt like this album's going to put me back. And then people don't support his efforts and say, yo, I love the Outlawz and love Pac. And you be like, hello, Outlawz over here. So he quit the Outlawz. He quit the Outlawz. You understand what I'm saying? He quit the Outlawz. So he was detaching from a lot. already. Think about that. He was detaching from so much, trying to find his peace. And in the detachment, he detached from this world. Unfortunately, literally. So when we see people, don't you remember my videos? That Orlando Brown shit ain't funny. You don't remember me saying, yo, that shit ain't funny? Jaguar Wright is not profound. I think she is a sick person. But because she deal with that conspiracy that we need, because we don't like to face reality, you think a person will deal with spooky before they deal with reality. Last night I was coming out my bedroom and my slipper was in the door and I closed the door and the door opened back up. Cause when I pulled the door closed, it hit the slipper and it opened back up. And I turned around like, yo, I better ready to rock something. I'm like, it's the fucking slipper. But, yo, you gotta forgive yourself. Stop dealing with shit that don't exist. And I'm gonna say one thing before I go. One of the biggest things that I learned from therapy, and like I said, I didn't do no quack YouTube therapists. I didn't do no spiritual healers. I didn't join no organization. I didn't do none of that. I went to somebody who got a doctorate, who did they 4 to 8 years into helping people and could lose their license if they don't do the right thing. I used to make up all these scenarios. I used to make up all these scenarios in my head. And when I used to talk to her, I used to say, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. And she said, how do you know that? I said, I don't know. I could feel it. I'm just anxious. I'm scared and this, that, and the third. And she used to say to me, yo, you say a lot of shit, but what evidence do you have to support that that's going to take place? And it pissed me off because I was stumped. I don't like to get stumped. I'm quick with it. I could come back fast. And I was like, yeah, but... And because of my family health history, being I was the last child born, my family and my loved ones always pushed on me, go to the doctor, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. Your mother, just run in your family, go to the doctor, go. So I'm a fucking little kid waiting to get sick and die. Because I know it's coming for me, right? Why am I exempt? And then I got 5, 6 people telling me, go to the doctor. Did you get checked? Did they say you have this? Oh, because you know that runs in the family. So now I'm sitting there saying, hold on. Damn, I'm 19. I don't got no kids. I don't got this. I don't got that. I go to the doctor. They tell me some bullshit. I don't know what I'm going to do. But it's pushed in my head. It's instilled in me. My sister, rest in peace, became a hypochondriac. You know what she did? She made me one. A hypochondriac is a person that go to the hospital for everything. They be like, my nose is stuffy. I got a sinus infection. And they start going to the doctor and telling the doctor what's wrong with them. What's wrong with you? Oh, when I peed today, a little bit came out. So I normally pee more. And they say, well, did you drink a lot of fluids? No, but still, I always pee more. And they be like, okay, we'll run tests. So you go, they tell you nothing is wrong with you. But that's not good enough because it gotta be something wrong with me. You know why? Because that's what everybody told me. That's not what I told me. That's what everybody told me. Something is wrong with you. And I'm going to get help and I'm getting medically cleared. But it's not good enough because now what I think is wrong with me is mental and now it's starting to manifest itself physically. So now I'm like, damn, my shoulder be hurting. What you do? I don't know, man. I just woke up. My shoulder was killing me. So you run to the emergency room. You're like, yo, my shoulder, I can't move my shoulder. They do a CAT scan. They do x-rays. We don't see nothing. You know what they start telling you after a while? So you will start going to the doctor hoping they find something so it makes sense for how you've been feeling. And that shit is crazy. You be like, nah, I'm going. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? Imagine looking. Just think about this shit. Imagine looking to be sick so you can justify your thoughts. Imagine looking for that shit because they said, yo, this runs in your family. This runs in your family. So, hey, I don't know how you gonna dodge that. You was your mother's last child. When she was pregnant with you, she had that. You know, and yo. And again, but then I find out, okay, some of the shit that run through your family only really affects women. It don't affect the men the way it affect women. So it hits my sister. Then it hits my niece. So one in every generation gets hit. But I'm thinking, it's coming to me. So that's why sometimes if you see me do lupus awareness and I talk about lupus, that's why I talk about that. That's why I say, and if I see somebody with it, that's why I like Jack Boy Maine, the battle rapper, because one day I called him and I was like, yo, bro, I heard that you got such and such. Like, yo, that's near and dear to my family. Like, I hope you okay. I don't know him. Even it's a woman on Facebook who, not Facebook, Instagram, where I did some promo for her. And she was like, damn, you kept your word. I was like, yo, certain shit is real. It's real. Get what I'm saying? It's real. But imagine growing up believing that, shit, I ain't gonna be here anyway. You either care or you don't care. But then you hear, then the motherfucker calling you old and you like, nigga, I ain't even supposed to be here according to science. I ain't even supposed to be here according to statistics. So yeah, I'm old. I'm a motherfucking amphibian. I'm a turtle. That shit don't bother me. It actually makes me feel empowered because I survived shit that many people can't handle a day. I be telling people sometimes, yo, you can't survive a day in my world. You couldn't have. But I'm battle tested. I've been through that. So when I see people afflicted, when I see people going through it, for some reason, I just run to them. I run to them and I be like, yo, you gonna be all right. You gonna be okay. Some of the things that you going through, because we fuck with people and shit be going on with people, and you just never know what you said, how it affected somebody. That's why I try not to get personal with people, but people be making it, for some reason they want to get personal with me. I'm fucked up. I'm harsh. I don't spare nobody. Yo, that's a woman. Shit, she didn't know she was a woman when she was running her motherfucking mouth. You don't get spared because you're a woman, because you sit down and piss, and you might have a cycle. That don't give you the right to talk to me a certain way. And some of these sucker dudes, who you talking to? I'd have gave you a wedgie in the noogie if we was around each other. Because again, you could ask anybody who's ever been in the presence of me. I'm not talking about the internet. I ain't talking about the internet. I'm talking about the presence of a man who exude manhood at all times, who ain't playing with nobody and show love and respect to everybody. You not gonna play with me. Just how it is. Where I'm come from, playing might be the last day you play. You say something you ain't got no business saying to the right person. That's where I'm from. That's what I survive. So again, if you have anything that's fucking with you right now, my grandmother used to say, yo, what's plucking your nerve? You know, Southern people are hilarious. And she'd be like, what's plucking your nerves? And because of the things that my grandmother went through, they don't know how to cope with us. They don't know how to deal with us. They don't know how to seek different programs and things that we need. They don't know how to do that. You be like, yo, I ain't feeling good. You better go feel good on them dishes. And you think back now, it's kind of funny because they ain't know no better. You know what I'm saying? Be like, oh, my stomach hurt. You better stomach hurt the rest of that damn food. Shit, I ain't got no money to be wasting on feeding you and you wasting food. And they might not even know you might be lactose intolerant. When I was little, I couldn't drink milk. And you know what my punishment was? You better drink the milk. And I used to be like, yo, oh, you making your, who wants to make themselves throw up? That is one of the most horrible things that you could go through physically is throwing up. And people that think, yo, he throwing up, he making himself throw up. Who the fuck want to make themselves throw up? But why did y'all give me tuna fish and milk? That shit don't go together. Why y'all think I hate mayo so much? I hate mayonnaise. They gave me milk and a tuna fish sandwich. That shit don't go together. And I earled everywhere. Then it's like you made yourself throw up. Right. Because I ain't got shit else to do. I want to be that defiant that I want to throw up. I never drank that milk in school. Chocolate milk, strawberry milk, none of that shit. I ain't drink that shit. I gave it away. But, oh, you want to go out? Drink the milk. Then they start fucking coming up with measures. Pinch your nose and drink it so you don't taste it. Me? I was fucked up. You don't do this, you can't go. Guess who ain't going there? I've always been hard-headed. Two things were hard-headed. You either gonna get your ass whooped or you gonna thrive. If you accept that you're gonna get your ass whooped, fine. But most of the time you're gonna thrive. Before I go again, I want to conquer fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. Most of the things that you fear, it's not because you fear them, because somebody else told you to fear them. How could you fear what you don't know? What are you afraid of? What do you think is going to happen? That's why the opioid industry wins, because they work off our anxiety and fear. That's why so many news channels win. When they tell you this happened in Chicago, 44 people, you're like, oh, I ain't going to Chicago. It's all because think about news. There's never no good news. It's all bad news. Nothing positive happens. No babies ain't graduate. No babies ain't take their first step. Nothing. It's all RIP. This happened and that happened. You don't got a sensationalized YouTube title? Hey, you getting buried. You see people come in here sometimes and be like, who he talking about? Oh, he ain't going in on nobody. I'm going to go with somebody getting dissed or going in on or getting torn apart. It ain't always that. But fear comes from what people put in you. When you're a baby, when you're a young child and you got a knife and you see an outlet, you want to see what that outlet hitting for. You seeing people plug shit in there, right? You didn't know that a knife don't go in there. All you know is you see people do this. You got a knife. Shit, you want to see, they put everything else in there, right? Let me put this knife in there. Until they grab you and say, don't put that in there. You can shock yourself. Scare you to death. So in the fear of that, they'll say, go plug the TV up. And you like, shit. You said I could get shocked. See how that works? What's the difference between a knife and this plug? Because they didn't explain the difference between the knife and the plug. They just said, don't stick that knife in there. You could get shocked. So you ain't sticking shit. Plug the TV. Hell no. All you know is you scared. If you grew up in the inner city, most of the time you grew up scared. So most of the time you was on the offense, so you didn't have to be on the defense. I'm gonna get these niggas before they get me. Every day when you go outside, you ain't scared? And when I say scared, I don't mean fearful as in you shaking in your boots because you still handle what you got to handle, but you like, shit, it could happen. Who did that to us? Why are we all, if everybody is afraid, then everybody's on the offense. So that's why when you see on the train, you see people spaz out over a fucking seat. Right? So what happens is, now you scared. Now you be somebody, Amazon is your friend. Uber Eats is your friend. You become isolated. And believe it or not, you really driving your ass crazy. That's why sometimes I just get up and I walk outside. Because I ain't scared of shit. I'm not scared. What's the worst that could happen? But on the other side of fear is some of the biggest opportunities ever. You know, I keep saying I'm going to go, but all right. As everybody know, I was a co-owner of Forbes DVD, right? Co-owner of Forbes DVD. One of the biggest websites in the world, one of the biggest brands. Put my blood, sweat, and tears into that. To this day, you go over there, a lot of classic interviews I did, a lot of editing, filming. A lot of that shit was me. But I'm a team player, so I say it was we. It's under a brand. But it was me. A lot of the brainchild of a lot of shit is always me. And I remember partnerships is not always cool because sometimes you get tired of your partner. And sometimes the best thing to do is get away from them before you punch them in their fucking face. So sometimes when a person makes you believe or makes themselves believe or try to make other people believe that they're responsible for you and you wouldn't be nothing without them because they're a narcissist, insecure individual, sometimes it could get into your head. So now you're out to prove that, nah, this was talent, skill, and my know-how that got me where I'm at. Not you or not nobody else. So what you do one of the most scariest shits ever, and you leave something that's working. You leave something that's on top. You leave. You know what you left with? You left with your dignity. You left with your name, and you still left with that knowledge. You still left with that execution, and you still leave with everything. And in 2015, I said, I am now Doggie Diamonds TV. Don't call me that. You know what? What else you got to do? You know what, nigga? You 300 pounds. Get your shit together. You can't talk about nobody. You can't talk about fighting nobody if you can't even walk up a flight of fucking steps. You can't talk about nothing if a nigga dance around you for 10 minutes and you can't grab him. So you know what you do? You're going to get your health together. You're going to get your mind together. You're going to get your brand together. And that's that. And that's what you're going to do. Because it ain't, what are you Are you proving something? Is everybody right? Are you only this because of said person, this, that, and the third? Or do you know who you are? Who are you? You go into the discovery of yourself and you leave something that's working. And niggas say, yo, how you gonna do that? Why would you do that? Don't worry about it. I'ma show you. Then you sit here today. You make it to television, you make it to billboards, you make it to magazines, you make it all the things that you set out to do for yourself. You make it. And then you say, yo, you know what? Motherfucker. Motherfucker made whole, make another one. Make another one. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you could get up out of here. We ain't worried about you. We ain't even worried about niggas. We not even worried about people talking because at the end of the day, niggas don't know. Y'all don't really be knowing the behind the scenes stuff. And me just being so cool, you know, me being so cool and being, you know, casual, I don't even be on demon time with niggas. And you know what's so funny, right? Anything I say once, I could say twice, right? And then for the people that think you gonna go tell somebody what I say or what I say, what the fuck are they gonna do? They know better. So y'all could go ahead. Y'all could go say, oh, this, that, and the third. They ain't never gonna open their mouth. You know why? Because they know. One thing they know is the truth. I don't come before people to lie in front and stick my chest out and say I'm this living in the time TV. I appreciate you. I don't have to do that. They know. Because if somebody else is responsible for me, why is there still a me? If somebody else is responsible for me, why is there still a me? When I could sit here off cap and never wrote an interview question down, ever. I've never wrote an interview question down, ever. I see people with notes, boring interviews, all types of shit. We can talk about music, we can talk about all types of shit. I am who I am. But I had to learn to forgive myself because then I started saying, did I do the right thing in this situation? How could I have helped this? And that's the empath in you. Sometimes the empathetic person will make you pick up the phone and call somebody and say sorry for what they did to you. And then you got to forgive yourself for not doing that. Because you think about that shit all the time. See, sometimes you meant something to somebody. No, sometimes somebody meant something to you and you ain't mean shit to them. And then you learn. Then you learn. And then you learn. So, y'all got some homework to do. Homework number 1. Yo, it's okay to say sorry to yourself. Just don't be a sorry ass person. And I'm not going to act like I'm better than anybody. Some days is better than others for me. But one thing I never do is I never take it out on nobody, and you will never see it on the camera. So sometimes when I talk about hip hop and I say certain things that I think about, that has nothing to do with what I might be faced with or going through, or it's hot outside, or goddamn, I woke up, the ceiling fan got me sick. I don't bring stuff like that to the public. But some days is better than others. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Remember when you was younger and certain shit happened, they say, you'll live. Think how important that is. You'll live. Remember Dick Gregory? I used to watch Dick Gregory a lot. But sometimes, you know, some of the things he used to say, whatever. But I remember he said his wife would call and they'd be like, Sears and Roebuck is calling. They said we got to pay him. Well, we ain't got no money. Fuck you wanna? Yo, one time before I knew about credit, I had got this. T-Mobile were giving away these laptops with they were giving away these laptops with cellular in it. This was like 2009. And I got me a laptop. I didn't know that. If I don't pay for it after a while, it goes to my credit report. I ain't know shit. So they called me one time and was like, you owe money. It's like, so? He was like, you don't want to pay? You don't care about your credit? I was like, yo, man, we can't get water from a dry well. I didn't know about credit, but of course I wouldn't do that to this day. But again, man, yo, reason why I say go to a professional, because the listening ear becomes a running mouth many times. So some people that you confide in, the minute that they get mad at you, the first thing that they do is exploit you. I've done it to people. I've had it done to me. And that's one thing that I strive to be better at, and not do shit to people that I don't want them to do to me. And for the record too, if something is whack, I'm still gonna say it's a whack album. That ain't gonna change. If I don't like a song, I'm gonna say I don't like it. If I like a record, I'm gonna say I like it. So that ain't gonna change. So do not take tonight's show, me dealing with things that plague us, as in I'm changing my stance on hip hop and music. No, we still gonna talk about the culture the way we should. Or we could just talk about somebody blowing their hand off all night, which I think is a play, but that's a whole nother subject. What's your name, 4Extra? I don't believe you. Till I see footage of you like this, I don't believe you. I think it's a play. Y'all niggas be running plays, and y'all get clicks and likes for it. I use discernment, and I ain't no goddamn fool. So I don't believe y'all. I don't believe shit I see on the internet. Most of the time, when people see, yo, that's fake. How could you tell? Because niggas be running plays. You mean to tell me a nigga hand got blown off and there's only one blurry picture? One blurry picture. I don't believe it. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I don't believe it. That's just me. Let me go on the record and say that. Just like I told y'all, Diddy will be the hero in the end. Niggas saying free Diddy. I just think different. Think out of the box. But yeah, let me run. Damn, it's 11 o'clock. Where fuck did time go? I've been on here that long. Y'all kept me on? No, I stayed there because I wanted to. I appreciate y'all as always. Hopefully, if anything that I said resonated with you, just hit the like button, leave a comment. Just know that although sometimes you feel like you by yourself, and sometimes you in a room and you feel like nobody understands, and sometimes you in a room and the fucking person in the next room is the one that's adding on to it, just know that if you could dedicate your mind and execute some of the things you need to execute, even that is temporary. Your situations are temporary because you've been in situations before. You got out of that, right? All right, you got to get out of this shit now. And the immortal words of my brother Mel, who used to always tell me, you got to figure it out. Until next time, I holla. Make sure you like these related videos. Make sure you hit the like too. You should already hit the like already. And you should also hit the share too. These are taboo topics that they don't like, but we gonna do it anyway.